Hello there. So I've been at the studio all day, and I've been editing my latest song together. And I thought, as I'm here, why don't I do a podcast just with me on my own? Now, I appreciate it's probably a nightmare listening to me talk for a couple of minutes, let alone, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20. However long this takes, who knows? Cup of coffee just to chill me out, you know. So, what I wanted to talk about is something that. So, I started a status, I think it was yesterday, and it was talking about potentially having ADHD or ADD or some form of attention problem. Yeah. And there was loads of really, really lovely comments from people. And they were saying about, I could try various different things. But it kind of got me thinking to myself, so what actually is normal? Because so many people sent me messages or were commenting and saying that they felt the same, they had an attention problem. There are people that say they're on the autistic spectrum. I've written a couple of blogs about my dealings in the past with things like depression, being up and down, and there's some days where I can, honestly go from being on top of the world to feeling like I'm just gonna plough my car into a bridge or something. I'm not sure why I said bridge, but you know what I mean. Something drastic, and it takes a lot of mental effort to try to keep an even keel, and a lot of it it's just an illusion. Oh, you can hear some snare drum in the background because I'm just actually mixing down a song. I forgot that I'd sent that off. Attention problems again. I was supposed to be waiting to do that. I got bored, so I thought I'd make this. It'll stop in a minute. It's fine. You can enjoy the fancy military snare drum. So yeah, I've honestly I just cannot focus on what I'm trying to do with that. Okay, it's finished. So yeah, it's hard to keep an even keel, and it's often an illusion of one. And I was talking to Joey the other day about how I think more and more people probably recently have seen that side of me, that quite kind of erratic side. For instance, I went to the open mic night the other day and I was in a particularly low, bleak point. But I mean, for anybody else, they might have said, oh, well, it's fine. But when you're in that mode, it's really hard to snap out of it. So what I used to do is when I lived on my own, is I could have a place where I could just sort of disappear, and I could kind of at least get myself ready to have the illusion, like a game face, to put on and be cheerful and the cheeky gregarious sausage that I'm sure you all identify me with. Now I have just realised that I haven't plugged the fancy microphone in here. Oh well, we'll just carry on with the audio from the camera. Honestly, it's just crazy the way my head works. I might have to chop this bit out. Yeah, so at least I can have the illusion of everything being fine, because I've taken the time to sort of centre myself. Maybe, I don't know, just often binging a bit of Netflix or just listening to some music. Bit of cheeky onanism, you know what I'm saying? Anything like that that can help. Plenty of coffee. Coffee's always good. But yeah, so I have a chance to put on the game face, and then it is like an illusion, because often what can be going on underneath, people wouldn't even know really. So the point I'm making is perhaps everybody's doing that, and if everybody is doing that, then what actually is normal? Because if everybody underneath it all is going through some shit, everybody's feeling either depressed or they've got attention problems, and everything has these names like ADD, bipolar. But what I'm saying is in comparison to what? So if you have normal, if you're not that, then you've got an attention problem. If you're not that, then you've got bipolar. But it seems that nobody is that. Nobody is this thin margin of normal. So maybe one of the things we need to do is lift the lid on what like normal is. Because everybody was saying I could try this and it would help me get some sense of normality. But I suppose with some of my mentalness comes some other things. Like it can make you really creative. You can be erratic in one stage. So is normal being like some kind of automaton robot? And if that is the case, who the hell wants to be that? Isn't what our character is, isn't that the thing that defines our uniqueness, our humanity? Isn't that what separates us, like from each other, from machines? And maybe, like if we redefine some of the things that we refer to as normal, maybe everybody would accept themselves and accept each other a bit more. So yeah, that was just a little thought that I had while I was mixing down the audio, and my attention wandered again briefly. I'm going to put this on my podcast page because it's something that I used to really, really enjoy doing, just having a conversation. If I'm honest, I think sometimes having a conversation for me is probably like better than almost anything. Obviously, like I love music, but just sometimes when you have those conversations, you're like, wow, yeah, that really sort of like blew my mind. When somebody says something that you haven't thought of. I had Grant and Joey over at the studio the other day, and we had an amazing conversation. I was around Scott's place for his birthday party, and there were some people there, and we had some awesome conversations. So yeah, I just want to restart the podcast thing. So if any of you guys would like to come on, not have an agenda. I mean, I'm just talking shit to a camera while I'm waiting for snare drums to mix down. So it doesn't have to be about anything. And perhaps people would find something interesting in that. Maybe we could do like a follow-up to this, and we could call it "What is Normal?" And just maybe have 2 or 3 people in. We can just discuss, should we be striving for a sense of normality? Should it be that we just accept that everybody's a bit like crazy, and there are no terms that define us. That's one of the weirdest things. Everybody seems to be searching for a term to define them. There's even terms to define the undefinable. Say like gender fluid, maybe. It's like it's going, I'm undefinable, yeah, here's a name for it. And I find a lot of that stuff weird, and maybe, I don't know, perhaps I'm wrong, but maybe things would be much healthier if you realise that nobody is in this thin thing of normal. Or maybe some people are, I don't know. Maybe it's like John Major, remember from the Spitting Image thing, where he was that grey puppet. I don't know, maybe that's normal. But I sure as hell don't want to be that, if that is normal. Do you? If you do, fine, I've got nothing against you. I mean, I've got a few things against John Major, but, that's another podcast. But, yeah, is it like a Venn diagram where you have, various different kind of personality traits, and then there's something in the middle where everybody sort of agrees on this thing in the middle is normal? And we should all have some of that, because I guess if you're too far over there and you don't come together as a community in the middle and we all agree, like maybe some mental kind of serial killer, say Shipman or something, like if he had some of that bit in the middle, maybe would be like a good thing. So yeah, maybe there are various circles. I don't know what I'm trying to say. So there's various circles of personality types, and where they converge in the middle, then that's normal. This, by the way, is the kind of shit that's going through my head all the time. That's why I can't focus on mixing down drum parts. But so is some sense of normality good? Is there any such thing as normal? Please feel free to comment under this video or send me a message. Or is it that, yeah, we're all just kind of completely sort of like chaotic, and there is no normal? I mean, is normal just a consensus, something we all agree on? And if it's something that is an illusion, does that mean that normality is just an illusion? I don't know. It could be argued. Anyway, please, if you'd like to come on and have a chat about any of this or anything else, really, I'm just open just to talk about these things. I will probably, I don't know, maybe try and make it look a bit more fancy than it's, you know, maybe kind of fancy cuts and like different camera angles, not just the microphone from the camera. I was supposed to put my fancy one in, but anyway. So yeah, it would be awesome to have a chat with you. So send me a message, and maybe you could comment under here. What do you think normal is? Is there such a thing as normal? Is it all just an illusion? Are none of us normal? Is anyone normal? Anyway, I hope you found some of that interesting. I'm not sure if any of my ramblings made any sense. But yeah, look forward to hopefully having a conversation with you, or reading some comments under this, or, you know, maybe it'd be one of those videos where you have like 3 or 4 views, and that's just me just sort of checking if anyone else has viewed it. But okay, speak to you soon.